Good morning, everybody. All right. As Christy said, my name is Paul Riedl. I'm the CEO of Riverrun, and I have David here from Barracuda. And the reason David's here is because he loves Wisconsin, so he loves flying here and enjoying the time and the weather here. So, and he likes the dinners here, so we're gonna go get that later. But
just phenomenal.
Yeah. But David's with Barracuda, and we'll have him tell a little bit about that. So there's a very tight relationship that Riverrun has with Barracuda, because as a managed services provider, we need to make sure we have a very strong SOC partner as we go through taking care of our clients. So as we're going to talk about this AI thing, and how does that tie in with security, and what are some other things we need to do and pay attention to with regards to security. Oh, come on now. So there's going to be another slide that comes out, and that'll be a picture of me, and we'll see, and then I'll introduce myself a little more. But as I said, I'm the CEO of Riverrun. Riverrun's a 31-year-old company, and we are focused on managed services for small, mid-sized businesses, companies that have anywhere from 20 users on up to 400, 500 users. And our focus is primarily in the Wisconsin area, but we do have clients in different parts of the world just because our clients have offices there. So we've got myself and David. David, we want to give a little bit of intro on you.
Morning, everybody. Thanks for coming down today on a busy day. We're sure you have lots going on, and you made time for us today, so that's fantastic. David Marsacci from Barracuda. I'm on our XDR cybersecurity team. XDR stands for Extended Detection and Response. We've had an amazing partnership with Riverrun going on 6 years now. Clap it up, 6 years. Here we go. Okay. So we provide security and cybersecurity solutions to our partners and their clients. And so hopefully you learn a lot today about what we have to offer.
All right, thank you, David. So again, just a little more on Riverrun. We're 75 employees in the team. We've got 300 small and mid-sized businesses that we manage the IT for. And our mission is helping our people, our clients, and our communities achieve meaningful results. And we do that by spending time listening, talking, having interactions, and that helps us understand the client so that we can be more effective with how we're servicing them. So David, tell us about Barracuda.
Absolutely. So Barracuda has been in the security business for 20 years. We started off with email security, believe it or not, and have grown into a complete offering, email, backup, firewalls, and cybersecurity, to name the majors. Barracuda's won quite a bit of awards for our products, our services, how we deliver to our partners like Riverrun. You can see we're in a lot of categories here. Basically, we get rated and judged amongst our peers within all the organizations that provide security. And so we continue to innovate and win awards. And we really enjoy what we do, and it shows.
Thank you. So before we dive too deep in, we thought we'd start with just kind of a baseline definition of what is cybersecurity. And so the definition that we have is cybersecurity is the secure and responsible use of information and communication technology. It is being responsible for your information by keeping the information secure and backed up. Secure and backed up. I'll say that one more time. Secure and backed up. We have to make sure that we've got very strong both security pieces but also recovery systems in place. Then we look at this AI thing, and AI has been talked about a lot, and it's getting very, very popular. So what is the artificial intelligence? It's the ability of machines to mimic human cognitive functions such as data gathering, learning, pattern recognition, problem solving, allowing the machine to take logical action. And we put logical in there because, again, we all know machines will do what we tell them to do, but based off of the data that we're giving them. So as we move forward, we want to start talking about cybersecurity. What's the current state of cybersecurity? What's the world looking at right now? So just kind of level set. We use the house as an example of cybersecurity. When we're talking about cybersecurity, think similar to how do you protect your house? Back when I was a young lad and I was able to drive into my driveway, I'd throw my keys on the floor because then I knew I could find them. That was the thing. I couldn't find them in the house. I'd walk through the front door was unlocked. That's how I grew up. Then it was like, well, better take the keys out of the car. Then it became, well, better lock the front door. Well, better get more locks on the house. Better put the car in the garage so that it's safe. Oh, an alarm system, we're gonna need that. Maybe we'll throw a Doberman Pinscher in the front yard, anything like that, just to help enhance the security. Well, as we look at that, that's something that you all think about in your businesses. How do we keep protecting our businesses? The span of me having to take my keys out of the car and me having a security system, that was over a 30 plus, I admit it, 30 plus year cycle, whereas in the IT world, everything sped up so fast. So with this, when COVID hit, bam, people are starting to work at home. Security started becoming even more and more a problem. And so we had to really make sure we're enhancing and stepping up the security just because of that. So again, as you're thinking about the securing your business, just think about the house, how you secure your home and how much security you do need to have in place there. So one of the trends is the attacks are more successful. And so I'm going to let David talk a little bit about successful attacks that he's starting to see.
Yeah, so when you look at that number, right, 73% of organizations have experienced a successful ransomware attack. Show of hands, safe space, who's experienced a ransomware attack in your business? Okay. I think the number's a little higher. It's okay. It's all right. So what does that really mean, right? And this is in the last 12 months, okay? So this means that the attackers have tool sets and ways to really penetrate and get access to your information. And what we're about to do is talk to you about how to take protective measures and steps to prevent that, right? To stop it from happening even from the beginning.
Just some additional data that we've found as we're preparing for this presentation. As you look, it's 5,136,645,282 known records were breached so far in 2,098 publicly disclosed incidents. That's the incidents that were disclosed. That doesn't include a lot of the small businesses that aren't sharing that information. So that, again, it's not meant to scare people, but it's meant to just kind of do a reality set that we've got a lot going on and we've got to make sure we're protected.
Okay. So ransomware success rate model. So when you think about a bad actor, right? The people that are doing these things, what are they doing? How are they moving? How do they plan their day, right? Just like we plan our day, this is how they plan their day, right? They target organizations, they target businesses. They've already gone after the majors primarily, right? And they've been, recognized and what have you. But now it's like the small and medium-sized businesses that are super vulnerable. So what they do is they have a target list, right? Got 2,500 organizations targeted. They've got brokers now, bad actor brokers. So it's a complete ecosystem that's out there with these bad actors. So they access brokers to sell compromised networks to ransomware as a service affiliates. It literally is a thing. Ransomware as a service, right? Instead of for good, it's for bad. I know, sir, you're shaking your head, but it's 100%. So now of that 2,500, right, they cast a big wide net for 2,500, and now they get 60 that encounter activity associated with ransomware attackers. So now we're prioritizing targets based on perceived profit, right? How much do they think they can get out of, this particular type of attack? Then it goes down a little bit more, right? Out of that 60, 20 are successfully compromised. Somebody clicks on something, somebody opens up a file, right? What have you. And now they're taking advantage of the security weakness because they've got now access to your network and to your files. And then you've got, one victim of a successful ransomware event, right? So that means, whoops, the two people that, raised their hand in the room, right? There's and I'm sure there's more, but that's okay. There's the telltale, right? So they've cast a wide net, they've broadened it down, and now we've got one person at one business that's now been breached, if you will. Okay?
So that's something too is the word breached, that has a definite definition versus a security event. Breached means that the data has been grabbed and actually been pulled out. And so I mention that because when that can depend, or that can dictate how somebody has to report on what type of security event that they have. Because security events, that just means some bad actor has gotten in or done something to you at that point. A breach means things have been pulled off. So when you're seeing things or reading stuff, again, just keep in mind, a breach means data has been pulled out, and so that's another piece that we have to make sure we're thinking about versus security event. So one of the other trends is that the bad actors, they still want more. And just a kind of a recap of what a bad actor is looking for. They're looking for credit card information. They're looking for any personal, medical, bank account information, service accounts. They're looking for the inside of your business. Again, the same type of things. But one of the things that they are looking for is creating chaos. Because a lot of times when they're able to create chaos, when chaos is there, you have an opportunity now that they can go deeper and find more information and grab more of your data. So we want to make sure that we're creating an atmosphere, an environment that's going to protect us from that. And then we look at the next trend, and that's security is an ever-moving target. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we're going to have this seminar next year, and then the year after, and the year after, and there's going to be new stuff to talk about. And you're going to have to look at your budgets, and you're going to have to keep an eye on your budgets about this darn security thing. Those IT people, they keep coming in. I got to buy more. I got to do this. Unfortunately, that's the reality of the situation because of a few different reasons. One of the main reasons that we looked at is that the number of bad actors are increasing. As David was talking about, there's services out there that are selling our information to others, and they're selling tools to others to try to get the hacking market bigger and more strong. So that's the challenge that we face, is that there's more out there. There's misaligned values. And that's the thing too, is that we understand that your data is your data. Well, there's people out there that say, well, your data is your data unless I get my hands on it, then becomes my data, and so then I want your money to become my money. And so that's the thing that we have to make sure that the values are misaligned, and we want to make sure that we're keeping tabs on that. New tools, creative attacks, and that's some of the stuff that we'll talk about with this AI. There's different ways to attack systems now. And that's a challenge that we face, is the bad actors' tools are getting stronger. We got to make sure we're addressing that. We've got the need for speed. We're moving fast. We have to move quicker. We've got less people in our offices. We've got to still do more business. We got to keep things going. We got to link people together. We got to do this quickly. We got to go, 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 go. Well, when we do speed, that's when we run into some challenges as far as mistakes are made. Either human error or things just aren't working, linking items together. International business, that has a different effect on us because, again, different countries have different rules. Different countries even sponsor bad actors to do things. And so that's some of the stuff that we have to make sure that we're paying attention to as well. We've got hosted applications. If I put it up in the cloud, I'm safe. No worries, this is great. No. If we're putting things up in the cloud, we've got to make sure that we've got the same amount of protection up there. We've got to protect our stuff, and we've got to make sure that if it is there, that vendor is making sure that they're secure. And if they're linking to other things, as we're linking the applications together, we have to make sure that everybody who links together is safe, because one bad actor getting into one area could get into other multiple parts of the system. That causes a big problem. The other part is just, it's extremely lucrative. It's an extremely lucrative business for the bad actors. So we want to make sure that we're figuring out ways to put them out of business, and that's what we'll talk a little bit about as we move forward.
Billions of dollars, by the way, billions.
So the other trend, and I'll have David talk about this, is just the amount of time that it takes to resolve issues or resolve security events or security breaches.
Thanks, Paul. So the major thing is visibility into your network, into your applications, into your everything, right? If you don't have visibility, the time frame is super, super long. So business email compromise, that's what BEC is. By the way, you're gonna hear a lot of acronyms today. SOC, SIEM, BEC, right? Business email compromise, meaning someone's clicked on a link from an email and now there's a situation happening. So 1 to 2 months for a business email compromise resolution, right? So that's not even just finding out something happened, that's actually getting to the end point, right? Resolution of that. Identity theft, 3 to 4 weeks, that, not too bad, but still can be a huge problem, right? Now they've got access to your information, your customers' information, anyone you do business with. It's a massive, massive web, right? Malware infection resolution, 3 to 4 weeks, right? So you've got a malware installed on one of your devices or what have you, 3 to 4 weeks roughly to get that resolved, right? Let alone how long it takes to actually find out something happened. Insider threat resolution, 3 to 6 months. Can you imagine your business being shut down for 3 to 6 months or something of that nature? And then extortion resolution without XDR, and then XDR is extended detection and response, unknown, right? So we have no idea kind of the time frame, because the average time that a bad actor is literally sitting on someone's network, any guesses how long that is, roughly? No one? Bueller? No one? 212 days is the average. Okay? Again, they've got tool sets. They're not just sitting there, literally sitting on the computer, right? They've got a program that lets them know, that keys them and triggers them when something they've put out there has been matched, and now they've got access, okay? So, time. It's not our friend in cybersecurity. 100% not our friend. So that's why we partner with Riedl to help deploy our platform.
And so one of the things that David was talking about is that the bad actors, when they break into a system, a lot of times they don't take action. They just sit and wait, watch, monitor, see what goes on. They're looking for the opportunity, and they're looking for the biggest payout. And so what that means is that they're patient little buggers sometimes. They just kind of sit out there and they just wait and watch. And so that's why it's important to have the tools that we're going to be talking about incorporated into your system so that you can avoid the numbers that we have here. One of the other things is that the recovery costs are increasing, and the recovery costs they include a lot of different aspects of it. So as we look, the average impact on companies less than 500 employees was 3.31 million. No, I'm not making the data up. Yes, we did some good research. Yes, we double checked the research. What's happening is that 3.31 million includes a lot of different aspects to there. First aspect, it includes the ransom. How much do you pay? Now the other really crazy part is, in some situations, you can't actually pay a ransom. Because if a bad actor is somehow tied to corrupt organizations that are against the United States, you're not allowed to pay those groups the money. So you have to figure out how to get your dollars back, or your data back, or protect yourself at that point. So that's where we want to be proactive. The other thing is system repairs. You got to fix the system. A lot of times you don't know where the bad actors are in there, so you have to kind of scrape the whole thing and put new stuff in. That's a problem. Legal services. Why on earth do I need an attorney at this moment? I've got a technical problem. Well, you need an attorney for a couple of different things. One is to make sure that you're protected with regards to what do you say, what information do you release, how do you put that out into the marketplace. I talked about that breach, that word breach. You know, when do you say breach? When don't you say breach? How do you instruct your people how to communicate? That's big in that part. The other thing is the security firm. You've got to have a security firm that's coming in to say, okay, now what happened? How did they get in? Where are they? Are they still hiding around in the system? What tools are they using? Is it a known bad actor? We get into then lost revenue. Obviously, if we can't do business, we lose revenue. That's a big problem, obviously, especially for small, mid-sized businesses. We can't have a day or 2 days or a week or 2 weeks of not being able to do business. We also look at fines. Yep, we can get fined if we get hacked in some situations, especially if we have specific regulations. We got to be careful of that. We also have lost clients. That's a problem as well. Clients lose faith in us. What do we do at that point? We could also lose vendors, good vendors, because of the same thing. Public relations communication, that can take a lot of time and a lot of stress and a lot of Rolaids, because the stress that it creates a lot of challenges with what do we communicate? How do we communicate? How do we put people at ease as we go through things? And then the last piece is employee turnover. That's a big problem. We all want to keep our people. We want to make sure that they feel safe, and that's one of the things that this does, or we've got to make sure we're doing there. The next trend is the cybersecurity attacks, so I wanted to just have David talk about that for us.
Thanks, Paul. A lot has happened in the last 24 years, right? So when you take a look at sort of the attack landscape, if you will, in 2000, what were computers like? Very, very different than what they are now, right? A whole lot different. And so were the bad actors, right? They were kind of just getting going, just starting to formulate as organized folks. So in 2000, the devices were probably a desktop, a laptop. The hackers were using scripts, which is basically very rudimentary, programs to be able to try and get in, okay? And the perimeter was very, very tight. It was controlled access. So basically, it wasn't really huge impact, right? It was, an access system, or they were coming in through, a mainframe or what have you. And the attacks were intrusive. Then you go to 2007, right? What's the biggest thing that happened in 2007? Everyone remember? Because everyone got in line for it. I know I did. Any iPhone lovers here? Okay. Right? So, all right. Is this on? Okay. Sorry, my flight's at 2, Paul, so we're going to move through this quick. Okay. Tough crowd. So 2007, we had the birth of mobile, right? And it wasn't really the birth, because in Asia, it had already happened, but over here in America, this kind of happened big time. So now the devices are mobile, right? Now we have an ecosystem of criminals. So now they're all trying to get together and talk about, hey, how can we band together and be the cool kids and steal from everyone, right? And so that's what they were, creating a little criminal ecosystem. Now the perimeter is a little bit bigger, right? Now they've got mobile devices to maybe worry about, tablets, right? iPad came out, right? Things like that. And now the attacks are disruptive, right? Now it's causing a bad day. Somebody gets in there, they've corrupted your files or what have you, so it's a problem. Fast forward to 2014. Now we got smart toasters and thermostats and, all that fun stuff, right? More surfaces for a bad actor to get their fingers in. And now they're hacktivists. So now they're doing things to make a name for themselves. They're claiming responsibility for an attack. Everybody remember the Target attack? Yeah? Okay. Two people. Okay. MGM Grand, right? Any of these big attacks, right? So now they're hacktivists. They're making a name for themselves. They're claiming things, and now it's a hybrid cloud. So it's a little bit mix of on-premise and cloud applications that they're figuring out a way to get access to. Okay. And now the attacks are destructive, right? Really, really causing major problems. Now we got 2022, Internet of Everything. Paul talked a little bit about non-state actors, right? So now you got people who want to do damage monetarily, right? That's the biggest thing, is they want to shut people down monetarily. Every single day in our country, school systems, hospitals, power plants get attacked, literally every single day. So that's what we're talking about, is a non-state actor trying to do damage because they have political affiliations with whomever, and now they want to make things a huge problem. There's no perimeter, right? If you don't have protections. And then there's the attacks are devastating, meaning you're shutting down, right? Maybe the state is shut down or what have you. And now here we are, 2023. I actually saw someone walking through the parking lot this morning with one of these things on. I went to Starbucks to go get a coffee. Dude's coming out of his car with this on. And I'm like, is this real? But yeah, no, it's legit. I mean, anyone else seen people? It's happening, folks. It's scary. Anyway, I almost was like, all right, I'm here. Don't bump into me. Like, he's like, swiping. I'm like, what are you doing? Okay. We're in the parking lot. So you got the metaverse. Now we got a criminal ecosystem, right? Now these people are really connected. They're all over the world. They're talking to each other. They're sharing platforms for, bad actor platforms. Now we've got malicious AI, right? So we've got systems that are created specifically for malicious purposes. And now we've got colossal, right? Meaning the events that could take place could take down a power grid, could take down a government sector. Don't think that it hasn't happened, because it has. We just don't know about it all the time, okay? So what we do protects against these things. Even though they're trying to get ahead of us, right? We're really trying to stay ahead of them using our AI, our humans, right, in conjunction. So here we have an evolution of AI, right?
We're gonna have to pick up a little bit the pace.
Yeah, pick up the pace. Here we go. Thanks. Good night. Okay. So 1950s, AI was essentially created, right? We have machine learning. Now the machines are starting to, look at algorithms. It's all about math, right? All this is math. And then you've got the 70s. We've got deep learning. The machines are starting to pick up and learn things here and there, right? Getting attributes and things. Now we go into the 80s, the 90s, generative AI, you've got behavioral AI, you've got all kinds of things happening. So essentially what's going on is, as the machines are getting better and better and better at doing what they do, the people who were programming that, right, are getting more creative. The bad actors are also kind of paralleling that as well, okay? Because they've got access to tools just like we do, right? And then you've got, kind of the back end of things where we're in the 2020s, and now things are picking up the pace with learning and being very, very smart with pointed solutions for protection. Okay. So, is this me?
No, go, yep.
Got it, okay. So, not only is it a game changer for AI, is a game changer for the bad actors, right? The volume of attacks due to automation, right? So, instead of them being literally on a computer physically trying to get into something, they've got programs that they're doling out. Targeting is much easier, right? Spear phishing, in case anyone doesn't know what that icon means, that's the global spear phishing icon. So that means, I want to specifically attack you because I've found you on LinkedIn and I know you just started and you don't want to disappoint and I need gift cards right away because Paul Riedl needs them for a meeting tomorrow, right? Targeted spear phishing. And then we've got code generation to exploit vulnerabilities, right? So people are writing code to exploit whatever surfaces you do not have protected or visibility into. That's the biggest thing, is reducing that time frame. Okay. So how is it going to change ransomware attacks, right? People are looking to get your credentials for your accounts. They want to compromise your network. Lateral movement basically means when a bad actor gets in, okay, the first thing they do is make themselves a backdoor to get out. They get whatever information they can, access, and gone, right? But they're moving laterally within your network, right? From your firewall to your server, what have you. And then they're going to exfiltrate the data, meaning they're going to take whatever files you have, gone, bye-bye. And then they're going to demand money, right? Give us 10,000 Bitcoin, or you're not getting your systems back. And even still, they may not do it anyways, right?
Right. Okay. So we just love audience participation, so we're going to have a quick quiz. And as we look, I need to just get an idea as far as what do you look for in threats? How does this email look? Any noticing anything that you're kind of going, oh, this is a threat? You can tell because of what? Hyperlink, okay.
What else?
Joel's been here before. He's heard this one. What else?
It's not personalized.
Not personalized? Okay. What else?
Email address.
Yep.
Email address, right. So as we look, these are the main things to just look at. As you're observing the emails. We want to make sure we're creating something. Whenever it's very convenient to recover a message, don't click on that link. Let's do something different. Make your life a little more difficult, but don't click on that link. So again, we want to watch for misspelled words. We want to watch for poor grammar, action of urgency, links to sites, incorrect logos, subject of discrepancies. That's the things we look for. So we've got one more, and this one's my favorite. So who can tell me why they think this is my favorite? Gmail, okay. That's not it, but right? No, you can't answer, Jesse. Because what? It's an email to myself, and I do not remember sending this email to myself. That's the hard part. So again, it's from me, from this magical CEO desk, Info1, to me. And so it was like, interesting. And I don't remember needing gift cards and things like that. So the point being that there was mistakes that were made. Well, now this AI tool has come out, and it's starting to become more mainstream. And so now what do we start seeing? This is just an AI, it's an example of an AI-created email that's used for phishing. The grammar is proper. They've got punctuation. They've cleaned up a lot of mistakes. Now, it's still going to have the wrong email address, so you got to keep an eye on that. But those are the types of things you have to be careful of. And there are some words in there that just sound a little bit off. So if you're reading an email and it sounds a little bit off, it's off. Make sure it's better to delete and pick up the phone and call somebody.
Better to question it, absolutely.
Right on. So another little thing we kind of came up with, what devices, just because we want to make sure people are a little more relaxed, as far as what devices are completely secure from a cyber attack? Air-gapped, right. Okay, could be, but completely? Here's a few. And there's another one, and another one. So those are the devices that if you're using in your business, you're fine. You don't have to worry about. But I know most of us aren't using these devices in our businesses, so we have to get into some of the solid cybersecurity essentials, and that's why you're here, is to learn what else do we need to be thinking about. And so some of the parts that we have to be focused on is what's in the cybersecurity hygiene. So I'll let David jump on that as well.
Absolutely. So As we talked about in the beginning, time frame, right? So super important to establish what needs to be protected, right? Your endpoints, your firewalls, your servers, your cloud applications, your email, right? All the essentials, okay? Next slide. Thank you, sir. Build concentric rings of security, meaning protect all those items I just mentioned with visibility detection and response from a trained team. Next slide, please. Monitor your environment, meaning having that visibility, right? How do you do that? Well, you deploy XDR. Reduce response time, we talked about that a little bit, but what does that really truly mean? You know, we saw the slide that talked about 1 to 3 weeks, 2 to 4 months, things like that. If you have no idea what's happening within your environment and you're not monitoring it, you have no idea what's going on, and that's the biggest problem, is reducing response time. How long it takes from when an incident takes place or when a bad actor is knocking on your door to responding, okay? And then secure your people, process, and technology with a platform that's built around this, okay? And that's Barracuda XDR.
And the big part to this is all the planning pieces. You just have to make sure you've got the pieces in place. And so planning up front is a big part of it. So when we look at some of the cybersecurity must-haves, we've got a endpoint detection and response, the EDR that David was talking about. We want to make sure that we also have multi-factor authentication. I'll get audience participation on that one. Who has multi-factor authentication?
Show of hands. Beautiful.
Oh, golly, I'm hoping it's everybody. At some stage. Strong password policies. Having a password manager tool is a really good way to help manage all those passwords that that you have to work with on a regular basis. Vulnerability penetration testing. Let's make sure we're testing any vulnerabilities from the inside of our organization and from the outside. Are there people able to break in, and are we opening up holes from the inside as well? We've got to know that. We want to make sure that we have the DR, business continuity, and incident response plans. Those are 3 separate types of plans, 3 different things. The one we really want to hone in on is the incident response plan. How are we going to react if we have a security event?
Bless.
How do we make sure that we can recover as quickly as possible with from a security event? We talked about the hosted backups, encrypted, air-gapped. Those are the big things that we want to make sure we're doing. We want to make sure that we've got IT governance with regulations. In other words, how do we govern our IT? What are the rules of engagement? When somebody new starts, when somebody leaves the organization, what are the steps that we take? What are our rules? What do we allow people to do? And it's really a big part when you're bringing somebody into your organization, is to make sure that you're teaching them your governance rules with regards to the IT. What are they allowed to do? What aren't they allowed to do? What are they encouraged to do with regards to IT? The training and testing, that's another big piece. You want to make sure that you're training, and then training again, and then testing to make sure, and then train some more. You've got to constantly be training on IT. We all get busy. We all forget. We all move so quickly. We have to be thinking about how do we keep our systems safe? How do we keep each other safe there? We talked a little bit about vulnerability scanning, but also then cloud services, third-party, vendor security review. We've got to do that, verify. Not the trust, we got to verify. We got to keep verifying with our vendors. Anybody that's utilizing us from the outside or working for us for the outside, you got to verify that they're doing the job, that they have the security in place, that they're paying attention. Because if we're tied into them, even if we're not tied in technology-wise, but they're a supplier of ours, it's good to understand what technology they have, because what happens if they can't deliver a product that I need to be able to put into my production to get out the door for my clients? That's a problem. So it's really critical to make sure that we don't get lulled because, oh, thank goodness it's not on our premise anymore, it's out in the cloud, and the cloud is such a magical place that'll keep everything safe. Nope, doesn't work that way. That's where we have to make sure we're paying attention to it and doing those things. And then the last part, and this is the part this is the relationship that we have with Barracuda, in that we have to have a security operations center involved. A security operations center, we'll talk a little bit more about that, but it's got its people, its processes, and its tools all keeping an eye on your systems 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. It's critical for this.
Okay. On that note, Barracuda has been doing this for going on 12 years now as Barracuda XDR. And our Security Operations Center, we have global teams. And there's a lot that separates a SOC, right, Security Operations Center. The slide you see here, it shows, level 1 through level 5, okay? People, process, technology. Our SOC is a level 5. We have presence in America, Hong Kong, India, and the UK. So we're a 24/7, 365 self-contained unit of qualified, trained individuals, and this is all they do, 24/7, 365. We've got 4 teams at our Security Operations Center. We've got a management team that oversees everything, but really what boils down to the difference between, let's say, us and anyone else on this matrix is the training, is the ongoing offensive and defensive tactics that we deploy within ourselves, right? We're training ourselves to help defend against the bad actors. And we leverage tons of AI in every piece of our XDR platform, AI is being leveraged. You can see comprehensive skill set covering all aspects of defensive and offensive security. You see all here, we've got some awards and some certifications, I should say, with our SOC team members, even to get onto our blue team, which is the first group that you call our SOC. Within 10 seconds, somebody picks up the phone, that's an analyst on the blue team. To even be a blue team analyst is really, really difficult, right? We're super, super strict on our credentials to get folks even in the door. We have an advanced run book, mapping, attack and defense exercises, right? So we plan and map this out so that way we cover every single scenario. We've seen it all. There's really not a scenario that we haven't come across yet that we don't have experience on. But there's new ones, right? Because there's new threats every single day. There's zero-day attacks that may be something a little bit different. That's why we do this all the time. That the SOC team does. And then we've got a state-of-the-art SIEM. Here's another acronym. Security Information Event Management, right? It's a tool that filters out all the log data, what should be actioned, what should not be. Because on your machines every single day, on your network, tons and tons and tons of data that comes through. So who's going to spend the time to sift through that, to know what's real, to know what should be actioned? It's this team using these tools. We've got SOAR, Security Orchestrated Automated Response. So now we're going to start automatically doing things, shutting down ports, things like that. Right. And then we've got TIP, right? Technology Information Platform. Everything we do has AI built into it, and the analysts working together to stay ahead of the bad actors. So this is an amazing.
Sorry to cut you. There's a lot of great stuff that's happening here. The reason we put this together is because this shows you where a security operations center should be operating. This shows you where some operate and they claim that they have the same skills.
Yep.
You have to be careful
in their
of
journey.
that. You have to be very careful of that. So AI is the game changer for ransomware protection. And this is some of the stuff that David was talking about, that they can be more targeted. They can use this technology to gather as much data and sift that data and find what they need to be able to start breaking into places. Analyze larger amounts of data. That's the thing too, is how fast it's able to process. Okay, how many have used that wonderful world of ChatGPT? Okay, so if you think about it, people are astounded at how fast it can write a love poem to my wife. It's fantastic. Way faster than I can. But that's the thing, is that it's able to grab data and make it happen. That's what the bad actors are using the tool for, to again, figure out how to break into systems. That's why we're using the AI to do the other way, to protect ourselves. So some of the actions, again, that you can take today, that's not just the having to do the working with the Barracuda or with a River Run. It's what can you do today? I want to make sure we're giving you some value there. Email safety training tips. And Amanda's created a wonderful document for you that you can take with you as you leave. But it's just some of the top 3. Do not click on links in email. We all know that one. Delete and clean out deleted email. Yes, don't use your deleted file as your archive. Get it out. We got to get stuff out of there. And then activate email monitoring. And that, again, ties in with the Security Operations Center. A Security Operations Center used to be something that was huge in the Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 companies. It was a luxury for a small business. It was a luxury. Now it's a necessity. It's a necessity. I have to put my hand on the desk and say it's a necessity. You have to have a Security Operations Center.
Amen.
Because if you don't have a Security Operations Center, you don't got a guy, you don't got a gal taking care of that. You have to have that. 365 days a year paying attention to the system.
A team.
We looked then at physical device safety. Delete texts, apps, and files no longer used. You download that quick file or the quick application, get rid of it if you're not using it. Stay current with system updates. And that's, again, the strength of River Run, that we keep our clients updated with their systems through tools and through us paying attention to that. And we make sure that, again, clients are doing that. Again, active device monitoring. We got to monitor that unit, that machine that you're working on. And we got to make sure that bad actors haven't snuck in there. And so that's one of the things as far as there. And then you'll notice that we've snuck in training on every slide. Why do you think that is? Okay, keep training. We have to keep training. Continuously, you got to keep training. We then look at the road warriors. We love working out of our car, love working out of hotel rooms, love working out of a vacation spot, wherever we're working. Well, use your personal hotspots, no public Wi-Fi. Yep, I went out on a limb, no public Wi-Fi, don't use public Wi-Fi. Well, not even in the airport, but what if I'm just checking email? Don't use public Wi-Fi. Use your hotspots. Because when we're reading the email, we'll get something that says, oh, by the way, you got to do some banking, and then you'll start logging into your banking, and the next thing you know, you're on a hotspot or a Wi-Fi, public Wi-Fi, doing some banking, and you go, uh-oh. You could have just compromised your system. Use VPN to access company data, and then new concept, do training. Got to make sure we've got that. Social media, hosted services, share as little as possible on all sites. Again, with all these AI tools, bad actors are able to grab some information from here, grab some information from this site, grab some information from that site, and now they have a very tight profile on you because you've put a lot of information out there. So I know we're supposed to share with people and we're supposed to keep a community, but don't share your information out there. Call them on the phone, have a good conversation that way. That's what we want to do. Activate the multi-factor authentication. Activate multi-factor authentication. Yep, it's an extra step. Yep, it's an inconvenience because you have to have your phone, you have to have some other device there, but activate multi-factor authentication. You have to do that. Activate it on everything that you have. We've got to make sure we're doing that. We look at password safety tips. And again, don't store passwords in text, documents, or spreadsheets. Do not use the same passwords for more than one account, and use an encrypted password manager. That's the big thing we want to get out of that. And again, there's more pieces to this, but that's the thing. Oh, and I forgot to mention training. Got to do some training on that.
Who loves training? Raise your hand. There we go.
So have I gotten enough points across on that one? All right, good. All right, so the big thing we want is to make sure that we're taking action here. Cybersecurity, it's a team effort. And we got to make sure that we're working together as a team to keep you safe. Well, that's involved with you, the client. That's involved with spending time with you, the client, talking, learning, understanding. How does this IT tool help you achieve your goals? We also want to make sure that we've got River on the Managed Services group in there. Yes, I have to put a plug in because that's what we do. Managed Services company or your internal IT team. You've got to make sure that they're a part of it. IT security and cybersecurity can't just be talked about in the server room, or it can't be talked about, and just with the tech team. It's got to be going to the C-level people. They have to be talking about it. They have to understand it. They need the reports on there. And that's a big critical part to this, is that we've got to make sure that we've got the team going with the client, River Run. And again, what's River Run doing? We're maintaining systems. We're keeping the systems healthy. Then we've got the Barracuda with the Security Operations Center. That's a part to this. And it's really a critical piece to the puzzle, because that Security Operations Center, as I said, is watching security 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. It's important because I need to sleep sometimes. So I need to make sure that there's a team helping protect us. And so because of that, River Run and Barracuda teamed up helps really decrease, and notice I have to use the word decrease. I can't say definitely doesn't happen, but decreases the chance of a bad actor getting into your system. A lot of the things that we talked about before, the things that you have control over, that's a big part of the success as well. This AI tool that we keep talking, or this AI technology that we talk about, that's a big part to it, but it's in the technology, it's there, it's running. But again, the bad actors are using that tool as well. And so they're getting and taking advantage of all this new technology to try to break in. We want to make sure that we're making their lives a little more difficult. there's really not, there are no businesses that I can think of right off the top of my head that I want to put out of business, except for that one. That's the one I would love to put out of business, but I can't do it myself. I got to do it with the client, with us, and with Barracuda. So that's the big parts of the cybersecurity. So as we summarize and we go through what are the critical pieces of the components that we have to have in our cybersecurity plan. It's a lot of stuff we talked about. I think we've said this a couple times, but a security operations center, has that message gotten out there or no? All right, good.
Everybody say SOC.
Okay. SOC, whoa. Hosted backup. That's something too, is that you want to make sure that you have a hosted backup solution that's outside of your system. And that doesn't necessarily, it doesn't even just mean, oh, no, I don't worry about it, it's up in the cloud. I would actually figure out how can you back up your cloud provider's data as well. Do you have a question, or are you telling me I got 5?
You got 5.
Okay, good. 10, I got 10, 15, oh, sorry.
Do I hear 20? No.
Yeah, I'll take 20. So that's a big part to this, is that you want to make sure that you've got a good backup. You are going to need to go to your backup sometime. You will. Whether it be somebody clicked on the wrong thing, deleted the wrong thing, got it. That's the easy stuff to recover from. There's going to be a security event that you're going to need to recover from with your backup. So you have to have a very strong backup and test that backup to make sure that it does work. Oops, excuse me. So the thing also is maintaining your systems. You want to maintain your hardware, software. And if you have a team that does that internally, great. That's what River does. We've got tools that help do that. So again, how can we automate to make sure that that doesn't get missed? Complex passwords, password manager, just we talked a little bit about that. There's a lot of great tools out there that'll take your passwords and keep them organized for you, keep them secure, and make it easier for you to log into sites, but securely. We start looking at vulnerable penetration testing. That's what we talked about. Test your system. Make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. We got to make sure that it's secure. And the thing about IT is that when you open something or add something or update something, it can also open up a hole. So that's why you want to make sure that you're testing your system. You want to make sure that you've got the vulnerability and the penetration testing going on there. As we talked about, do not use public Wi-Fi. Now, how many of you will honor that request? Actually, it's not even a request anymore. Okay, I got 1. How many else will do it? 2, 3, 4. Okay, good. Please don't disappoint me. And I'll tell you exactly why. I'm in a Vistage group, and in that group we have 20 of us, and I do this presentation once a year for them, and then I'm reminding them constantly. And so we're in a meeting, and one of the guys is like, "Hey, what's the access code for the Wi-Fi here?" Look, I'm like, are you kidding me? Do you ever listen to what I'm saying? That's the point. And I know it sounds goofy, but it's the reality of it is, don't use it. You can use the hotspot on your phone. Never leave your devices unattended or unlocked. Obviously, that's the easy one. The multi-factor authentication we talked about. When in doubt, call, ask, delete. I do not know one single IT person that would not be happy to take a phone call from you asking a question about, this email looks weird. Should I be clicking on this or not? They'd rather hear that than, I clicked on a weird email. What do we do now? So again, let's talk. Let's make sure that you're communicating. Be suspicious. Be very suspicious of things that are coming across your desk. Train your team regularly. There's phishing awareness tools that are out there. Fantastic tools that, well, I don't really need that. We're a small office. It's good because small offices make mistakes too. And so the phishing tool tests your people and then gives you a report saying, hey, here's how well your people did, or here's how it didn't do. You got to make sure that you're training on this. And then they provide more training for the people.
That guy Paul clicked on every malicious link.
Yeah, right on. The next thing, just security review, like we talked about. Review your cloud services. Make sure that the third parties, everybody that you're working with, has that. And then the last part is to have a tested incident response plan. The incident response plan is what you use to identify, do we have a security event going on? And if we do, who do we call? Who do we get involved with? How do we make this security event go away as quickly as possible? Businesses that don't have security events, thinking about going back to that, our incident response plan, going back to the house scenario, think about walking into your home, and are you getting home and it's 12:30 at night, and you left the front porch light on, but the front porch light's off, the front door's ajar a little bit. You kind of walk into the house going, all right, did the kids leave it on or leave the door open or what's going on or what's happening? You hear noise in the kitchen, you go into the kitchen. Well, you can't get in the kitchen because the kitchen door's locked. Now you got to try to figure out what's going on there. There's confusion everywhere. Having an incident response plan helps take that confusion and make it more manageable and takes a little bit of the stress out. Because when you go through incident response or incidences, security incidents, it's horrendous. It's just horrendous. So my wish is for you to never have to experience it, and these things will help you do that. I can't say won't eliminate it, but helps you do that. So again, next, we've got some next steps here. David, you want to go ahead?
I was just going to say one quick thing. Plan and budget for a cybersecurity plan, okay? That's the one thing that most businesses do not do, is plan for this and budget for it, right? We'll plan and budget for an annual picnic, but not cybersecurity. So just get that in the mindset, right? Active plan for cyber.
Perfect. So again, some of the things that we've got for you all is if you would like to take advantage of it, request an XDR demo by entering your name into our raffle, and then book a free one-on-one consultation about your organization's data and systems. We'll talk about the wonderful world of cybersecurity. We'll educate even more so, help you understand what's going on. So I'm kind of going a little bit quick because I want to make sure that we have time for questions. So who's got questions? Yes? Why can't you use public Wi-Fi? I will say it's not can't, it's we shouldn't. And the reason that we don't want to use that is because when you're on public Wi-Fi, people can listen in. It's a shared type thing. And so that's the part, even if it's hotels where they have a secured one, it doesn't guarantee that when I'm connecting to that Wi-Fi that you couldn't connect and you couldn't see what I'm doing on that system. Does that make sense? Okay, good.
One more thing on that tip. When you go into a Starbucks, when you're at an airport, there are literally people that all they do is sit there and wait. They look like they're working. They're not. They're waiting to get access to your information, right? If you have, no protections over your, on the public Wi-Fi, the Starbucks Wi-Fi, the airport Wi-Fi, things like that.
Other questions? Oh, go ahead, please.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
You find, I'm not an IT guy.
I know, but you're playing it well.
Yeah, right, yeah. But anyways, do you find a difference in risk with companies that work remotely versus companies that actually go to the office nowadays?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the question is, do we find more risk with companies that have the people in different parts of the state or different parts of the world connecting back into the office? I would say that before it wasn't as big because most of the computing was done internally because you had servers and you had everything there. But now, because of the fact that there's so much on the in the cloud and there's so many access points or places that we're accessing through the internet, that it doesn't matter if you've got people in-house or you've got people out-house. Most of the times we're just using the internet to get to things, so the security level's got to be both and both sides, both types of companies.
Definitely use a VPN.
Yeah. Yes. Recommended encrypted password managers. There's a few of those that I will make sure that Jesse can get to you. Right, Jesse?
Yep.
Thank you. All right, what else have we got?
I just got a couple of comments. You mentioned storing data in the cloud. In the legal world of case law, it has been determined in most cases that you are responsible for your data. So if you store it in the cloud and you depend on the cloud provider and you try and divorce yourself and say it's their fault, it's your data, you're responsible.
Right. Thank you for sharing that. You're right.
100%.
Yep. And if it wasn't clear enough, again, when you're putting things up with the cloud providers, you want to make sure that those that's backed up. And if you can control the backup, that's even better.
And one of the components of XDR is protecting cloud applications, like M365 and Azure and AWS, things like that.
Yes.
I just had one other comment. I just heard this morning that Ascension Healthcare is not going to be able to even take payments on their system for 3 months.
Okay, you've scooped me. Wow. Wow.
And I had a person this morning say she tried to pay a bill and they said her down the whole hand.
Okay.
So they were
Wow. Thanks
compromised.
for sharing that.
Right? They were compromised.
Yes.
Okay.
You mentioned that bad people are becoming smarter using AI. The attacks are becoming more intelligent using AI.
Correct.
What do you think the other side of the story is? Protection, securing the systems in AI. What do you see the potential?
It's very similar to how the bad actors are using the tool. They're gathering data and then they're saying, okay, this is how I'm going to attack. We're gathering data and saying, this is how I'm going to stop them. And that's where the AI piece is really strong, or it's going to keep getting stronger, because the more information that we're gathering, the better the defenses are that we're able to create. So your question is fantastic, because again, it's kind of like a big game of leapfrog. You know, we're trying to leap over. Well, we're trying to stay a couple steps ahead using this AI tool, because the AI tool can go, something's changed, and you can process that and say, okay, based off of all the things that I've learned, now here's how we're going to stop this. That again is the security operations center piece that's designed to use this tool, have this tool stop what's happening, so that bad actors can't continue to do those things. So thank you.
Utilizing the AI and our humans, right? That's the biggest thing. Mm-hmm.
And I'm supposed to stop asking or having questions. So I really thank you so much for coming and paying attention to this. I appreciate it. And if you do have questions or want, I've got Joe Bitter there. He can answer any questions, get you the documentation, get you the information, and Jesse Smith. They're two members of the River Run team, and then Amanda, who's done a wonderful job at making this presentation happen. So thank you, Amanda.
Thanks, Amanda. Thanks, everyone, for coming today.
Yep, thank you.